Raise your horns high and let your spirit flow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show. Feel the rush, let the loudness grow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show.
All right. So the show for what was that? The 3rd of May. So it was a lot of music, right? I mean, I think they went away from their typical, although, got to wedge certain things in there, got to wedge the new pickup and some. Isn't it funny that Neely pointed out that person that had parked that close to his truck, and he referred to them in some derogatory term. I forget what it was, but something about being a country person, and yet he's got a pickup trying to pretend to be a country person. So go figure.
Wait. So I missed all this again. No. I don't really pay attention as much anymore. So he got the pickup.
He said he did. Yeah, he had gone to go grab a burger, which he never ever does. Right? It's like, okay.
Because the waistline, I'm trying to watch the LBs.
And he doesn't like to feel bad.
Right. So he had gone, grabbed a burger, parked, and I guess he was complaining about how close somebody had parked to his truck. And I mean, he's just not a good storyteller. He likes to hear himself talk, I think.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Hence the putting himself through radio school so he can get on the radio and talk to his friends.
But it was.
Hold on, I got to give you a little bit of this.
Yeah, the nodding. Yeah, the shaky head is in full effect with the guy. He should get that checked out. And so a lot of music. Yeah, he doesn't. A lot of music.
Yeah, not a lot of boring topics. To be fair, I mean, it seemed like they were trying to generate some things, but it's more like, "What have you been doing? I haven't heard from you all week." Well, I didn't call you. You didn't call me. Well, what have you been up to? I parked my truck out in the parking lot, and I gave him spaces on all sides, and he pulled in right next to me, and then I was like, "Why are you doing a park in that space?" So yeah, it's just
wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, and that was it. That was the
CMS. It tells you
that was the story, but he had to drag it out to make it a 30-minute thing, just to eat clock
time.
Right?
Yeah.
Hey, wait. Actually, in the same vein of that, I'm going to tell you guys a story. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Yesterday, I ran up the street to get an energy drink from the grocery store, and I parked my truck in the parking lot, and somebody parked next to me.
We're losing you there, Andrew. The audio's cutting out.
Yeah.
All right. Hold on.
Technical difficulties. Kind of like they had, right? Chris had his computer crash and everything too. So it's like what? It's like the internet gremlins. But
all right. Can you? No.
There we go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I was telling you the thrilling story that yesterday I ran up the street to the grocery store to get myself a couple more Red Bulls, and I parked my truck in the parking lot, and when I came out, somebody had parked next to me. Isn't that exciting?
Yeah. Well, I know. He's got away with the story, and I don't know. I mean, I guess
I did catch where he was, of course, talking about going and hanging out with Doc at the kind of theater on
yeah.
And that he might go out to Lima and visit everybody, and made the joke about visiting the old ex-wife. And I was thinking to myself, what are you going to do, crash on her couch for all time's sake?
Yeah, I'm going to crawl up on the couch, and I'm going to try to get some Z's while they're doing it in the other room.
While her current husband is actually fucking her correctly.
I'm going to go back to my college campus and relive my glory years and reminisce about old times. Makes me feel bad.
Yeah. The show has taken kind of like a turn for the boring now, right? Before it was like,
that's why I did check out. I tuned in and checked out probably within a span of 20 fucking minutes.
Right.
I put in the first segment. By the time they got through the music to the second segment, I just couldn't.
Yeah, I didn't gave up. I cut out on the last segment just because
Oh.
at that point it was like, I mean,
Ruben's a trooper. He was being a trooper for us.
well, I think it mostly because of the fact that if it's that late in the evening, if nothing else is on, I put it on for like background noise while I do any other miscellaneous chores or whatnot. But yeah, I mean, at that point, I'm like, I'm just gonna go crash, man. I'm not gonna stick around for this last hour. It just
So, what was the thrilling sponsored segment?
the sponsored segment, maybe. Well, the sponsored segment was all Van Halen. That's when they covered Roth's return to the M3, and they discussed again Sammy Hagar, in the new tune, which I guess Chris, for whatever reason, dislikes. And then took a couple of jabs at Barden, and then Wolfgang Van Halen's like From Dusk Till Dawn music
Yeah,
video.
I have not seen it yet. I know it exists. I know it's out there.
I
So
don't like it.
is there a third album coming? Because I noticed it's just
Yeah.
Mammoth now, and it was Mammoth WVH. Now
Right.
it's just Mammoth.
Right. There is an album coming. I don't know when it's coming out, but I know I got something from the publicist, and he rolled out the info on the video.
So that's the lead single off this upcoming album.
Right, the new album, whatever it's called. I didn't even pay attention actually, to tell you the truth, on the email. But one thing I do know is I was kind of lukewarm on the first Mammoth record, but the second one I'm a big fan of. So hopefully this one's just as good as the second one, if not better. This particular song, I guess it's okay. The video I could do without. It's just really cheesy and nothing. I mean, it should have just been a performance video, frankly. But I mean, he got some. Who was it? The name director, the guy that directed From Dusk Till Dawn, did the video, and he's got some cameos from different people.
Quentin Tarantino.
Is that Robert Rodriguez?
Robert Rodriguez. Yeah, right. So I think they.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, wait. Well, Quentin Tarantino, he's actually in that movie, right? Is
Sure.
that where I'm getting?
Yep.
And he wrote the script, I believe.
Yeah, he wrote the script.
The director was.
He's the guy that plays George Clooney's brother in that movie, correct?
Right.
Okay.
I think
that's
so.
what I
Yeah,
thought.
that's right. Yeah.
That sounds right.
Yeah. So not a huge fan of the video myself, but whatever. The tune's okay. I just hope the other stuff's better.
Gotcha.
And so yeah, it was a lot of it was like the Van Halen paid segment is what it turned out to be. Van Halen related paid.
We're going to take the only topic anybody might have interest in and lock it.
It was funny though. I think that video, that short clip that I sent you guys, was actually their buddy Mark Strigle, who was raving about David Lee Roth's performance, which
a lot of people are.
They are, and I don't get it. I mean, I guess they're just happy he's back, right?
Yeah, but I can. All right, so let me tell you this, because I did notice something on one of the clips.
He's got plugs.
Well, yeah,
That's for sure.
But also his head is fucking humongous. But that's besides the point.
Oh, his ears are huge. That's what happens when you age. Your ears get huge. And watch Neely's ears. Next time he's on air.
He I think he could do a lot better if he actually tried.
Right.
Because on the clip I've seen of Atomic Punks,
when
he starts out, that first line sounded decent, and then when he starts like really fucking screaming, that's where it all just kind of comes apart.
Right.
I think there is a way for him to perform somewhat efficiently if he really wanted to, but
right. What was it? Do you remember what Chris's quote was when they got into the M3 thing? It was something about somebody nobody gets a pass or something if you're asking for people's money or something like that. And it's like, interesting. Somebody gets a pass on that show every time.
Very clearly.
Who are you in reference to?
The hypocrisy is real.
Right. So, But
so
yeah,
let's just get down to break. Let me say this. I'm going to say a couple things.
Go ahead.
About Roth. Roth, he suffers from what a lot of these singers do, which is that, especially in these classic era bands, they want to cover the hits that everyone in the front row knows. And I get that. But dude, you can't sing Unchained. You haven't sung Unchained right in 20 years.
In forever.
You're all over in the verses. You can't hit the notes. Just skip that one. Go to something you can do, man. So, because again, if you watch the whole clip, there is a song or two where Dave gets into it and he's actually on time and he's saying the words the way you know it and it sounds right. And then he gets to the chorus and he can't hit it and it goes sideways. And now you got the background guys doing the vocal here and Dave's going, hey, yeah. Ooh. And it just, man, dude, that's the song. If you can't do that, then pick a different song. That's number one. The fans are not going to stop coming to David Lee Roth because he didn't play Unchained. That's my point. He obviously took Jump out of the set list. Bravo, dude. No one's played that song right since it came out in 1984, in my opinion. Even Van Halen. It sounds like shit. That's not a song you can play live. It's a radio hit. So go to the songs that rock that you can do. I will say this. His band is awesome. The guitar player has Eddie down pat. The tone is great.
Real quick on that, because Chris was quick to basically berate the guitar player. I mean, and I didn't hear it. I mean, I'm thinking the guy's pulling it off pretty well. Some of it he's not nailing, but who does?
No one does. Go watch Satriani. He's taking liberties in parts because he can't do exactly what Ed does. You have to hit the main parts. And if you go back and watch that Unchained video, it's the guitar player who's nailing the song. It's the guitar player who's saving that song. If it wasn't for that guitar player, that Roth singing like that with a bad guitar, everybody would be walking out. We want the refunds, man. Right. So I don't agree with that. I listen to the tone. I watch the guy play. He hits the licks. He's doing a lot of the solos almost note for note. The tone's right. The drummer's good. The bass player's good. I just didn't dig all the background singers, and now he's having them do all the breakdowns and the song choruses and stuff. And I don't really need all these guys up there. I just don't need that. But that's again, Roth is doing that because he knows that he doesn't have the vocal chops to carry the load. So
wouldn't it have been better?
Credit for it.
Wouldn't it have been great though if he had like 4 women singing backgrounds? Right? I mean, that would have been better. I think
even 2 would have done the job.
Or 2,
portions you need.
I think 4 was excessive.
My take is be true to the VH formula and just get yourself a bass player who can hit the high notes and have him do that part. The problem is a lot of these guys don't want to take the time to find a bass player who can sing those vocal parts. And let's be realistic, Michael Anthony's vocal parts are not easy. There's not many guys out there who can do it. But there are some, and you should find one because then you wouldn't need all these background guys over here. So I will give Dave this. I thought he looked sharp. He's in shape. He doesn't look like, the other guys get out there with the big guts and they're... He didn't get none of that. He's slim.
He's got use of both arms.
Yes, both legs, and he's
both legs.
But, and he actually, I'll be honest with you, compared to what I've seen him live myself, there was a little bit of less shuck and jive going on there.
Right.
There's times that I saw where there's all kinds of things happening that have nothing to do with music. This show, at least from what I saw, now again, I'm just going off the clips. I went song by song through his set list. He did keep it like somewhat minimized to doing the songs the way, not giving me the pole dance routine. So, hey, that's cool. Would I go pay for it? No. Will I watch it on YouTube that one time? Am I going to go back to it again? No. So, but, credit where credit's due. He got a good band, and that's the first step, because without that, he's not going to carry that with his vocals. So, and I honestly would say, the set list I kind of liked. There was a couple of tunes in there he doesn't usually play that I did enjoy, and there were a couple deeper Van Halen cuts than what he was doing before, and less of his solo material. So if I can swap out Beautiful Girls and Just a Gigolo and get Drop Dead Legs, so I'm all good.
Yeah. So why I think he did keep Unchained in there though is because he does get to do a little bit of that fucking shit that he does in the middle of
the middle. Yep. And that's pretty much the only thing he can still pull off, because as soon as they hit the chorus, it just doesn't sound right.
He just wanted to say, "One break coming up."
Right.
Probably. That's probably why that stays.
Recording, to be honest with you, I hate that part.
It gets cool when you first hear it and you're 16.
Yeah.
But when you're older, you're just kind of like, I don't like the part in and the Cradle Will Rock where he goes, "Have you seen Junior's
Oh, right.
grades?" I hate that
Yeah.
part too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just kind of, same with the Hot for Teacher lyrics. This
Sure.
is kind
He
of
just
his thing.
improvises
Back to the
and they kept it in.
juvenile.
Yeah.
And, again, I think honestly, good and bad. The good news for Roth is by doing that, he kind of made his band a little bit young and timeless. So there's always going to be a 15-year-old kid who's going to be rebelling and hear that Hot for Teacher go, damn, dude, that's me in school or whatever. But for those of us that are adults, it's kind of like, yeah, we've seen this routine. We've had this before and we don't, so. I will say this. I also, just because I didn't want to be biased, because I'm pretty much a 50. People think I hate Sammy. I like Sammy. I don't always like the first album or two he did with Van Halen. I prefer Fuck and Balance and things that came later myself. So I felt like he got more of his opportunity to be himself. Like I told you guys before with Though You Ain't One Two and even 5150, I feel there's a little bit of trying to go nostalgia and be more like Roth in certain tracks. I don't like that for Sammy. I did do was I watched his Stagecoach performance with Satriani. Right. I watched that whole performance. It's on YouTube right now in the high def and everything, pro shot. And he did good. The only thing is I'm not and also I went ahead and because he just did Love Walks In, which I guess he hasn't been doing in a long time, or I don't know. But let's not do that, Sam.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that song. Do you like it? I mean, is that
and that was the last song of the night on the last show he did here just a couple days ago, and I was like, don't do that.
That one's really cringy to me.
It just doesn't, and he's not singing it well because it does have, and I don't know, the keyboards. It's just.
So yeah, I'm not a fan of that one.
Alien.
I could give him a tip right now. Swap that out. Throw Man on a Mission in there. Give me Judgment Day. Give me. I'll take a Pleasure Dome. I'll take any of these songs over Love Walks In. So.
Yeah.
But vocally, Sam is better. I think both bands kick ass. Aronoff, I kind of feel what you're saying. Little, I don't know. He's almost like choppy, it feels like, compared to Bonham to me. Like Bonham has some swing, and I don't. Aronoff is very mechanical almost. Sure.
The one thing that Aronoff did almost nail an Alex Van Halen tone on that new song. I mean, if you go back and listen to it, it's like, what the fuck did he? Or who knows? Maybe he didn't even fucking play on it. But the tone on that, the drum sound on that sounds like a total Alex Van Halen sound.
Absolutely. I think they did do a good job of recreating a general Van Halen feel with the song. Again, my problem with the song is just the title. It's like, I don't need this 3-word ramble. Just call it thank you or good night or whatever. I don't know, whatever. Pick a word, man.
Yeah.
And I would say, is it going to be something I'm going to listen to forever? No, but Sam's probably trying to drop a song in order to get a little buzz going before he hits the road and does this and that and the other, and that all makes sense. I would also say Aronoff plays better on the Human Beings track that they were trying to bring back here. That aggressive drumming fits better on that song.
Right.
Again, Love Walks In and keyboards. I don't think me or Eddie Van Halen's Ghost needs.
Right. Yeah, that's That's the thing about those first two records, though. I mean, I think they are keyboard heavy, and the drums.
That was the times, the fake drum sound.
Yeah.
That's why I think FUCK hits so much harder. You got real drums. You got Sam being Sam with no Dave in there. And it just feels to me like a more quality track by track album. I don't feel like I have to hit skip on a song or two. And there's a song or two on the other ones where I'm just not listening. Yeah. So
top two Van Halen records. I go the very first with Roth and Fuck.
I'm gonna call out Sammy and Dave right now and say piss Alex off fully and do another Sam and Dave tour with your bands. That will pack the houses and then everyone will be pissed, especially Alex.
Yeah. And that would be everybody. That would be a good way to go out too. I mean, because after watching Roth, I mean, it's just kind of like, well, he's back, but he's not going to get any better.
No. He said, this. It sounds like this is the see you on the road. This is probably the final road for him.
Yeah, and then didn't Sammy also do? Oh, he did. I was listening to it actually. I listened to it a couple times. It's Steve Gorman from the Black Crowes, ex Black Crowes, where he was on there and he was chatting about probably winding things down, not knowing really if he wanted to tour again, which I think he'll probably do. I think he'll probably do some farewell something or other, even if it's just major cities and doing like a lot of the amphitheaters or something. But he might be winding it down. But I'm with you. I mean, as much as I'm not a super big fan of what Roth is doing these days, vocally and performance wise. I mean, I'd still go see that if he paired up with Hagar again, and maybe even had like Wolfgang Van Halen opening up. I mean, that would be a hell of a way to go out.
And if they were truly honoring the legacy of Ed, at the end of the night, Sam, Dave, and Michael Anthony should be on stage doing one song that they can all do in tribute to Eddie. But that's just my opinion.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think Sam and Dave will do that because they never have.
Yeah,
but
right.
wouldn't that change the world?
Well, that would be a good show. That would
a good way to end it, to wrap
jam-packed.
it all up. It would be less hostilities, and I mean, obviously the hostility is going to be Alex suing everyone for playing Van Halen without him or Ed. So he basically said that's what he's going to do every time he hears it.
Have you read the book? Have you even read the book? I have no interest. I just think the guy is so bitter that I'm like, that just seems like it's going to be a downer,
I haven't picked it up yet. I probably will, though, just because I do think he has good stories. Again, with a couple of podcasts, when you get past the issues and just hear him talking about, well, in '84 we were at this, and we were at '83 or the US Festival doing that. He has a lot of stuff backstage, man, that he could talk about that no other than him and Ed and Dave and Michael. That's it. That's one guy who can tell these stories. And so for that, I'm interested. But when he gets into that I feel that way when Sam starts jabbing him with his bullshit,
well, sure,
and saying, well, we won't do this and you won't do that. Well, he doesn't have to, Sam. He's Alex Van Halen. His last name is Van Halen on the band marquee. So he doesn't have to do shit, dude. You know what I'm saying? You want to go be Hagar, go be Hagar. But you can't expect him to decide, or you can't, I'm saying you can't have Sam deciding what Van Halen's doing. Van Halen was not started with Sam. It started with Alex and Ed. That's just the bottom line. Even Roth came in later. So,
right.
To Alex's mind, the band starts when him and Ed are 16 jamming in a room, dude. That's Van Halen to him. And so, in that regard, I think he has every right to just say, hey, I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that. And I think this should be that way and that should be that way. No offense to Roth or Hagar or Michael Anthony, but no one knows Ed better than Al.
Right.
So
not only that, but how far can a guy that uses a cane to walk really do as far as performances, right? He could probably do like a song or two.
That's why he sold the drums. Yeah. I mean, that's why and in the interview I saw, I should probably send you guys a link, but it's a pretty recent one. He did it really a month or two ago. He's on the couch talking to some guy. He has the cane nearby, and he's saying right there, I'm not going on tour. I'm not playing shows. I'm not physically able. That time is past. Right. That's at least he has the goal. I say some guys,
unlike Ozzy. I mean, at least he knows
I can't do it. Yeah,
and that's a good point. I mean, at least you can respect the guy for knowing that he's no longer able to do it, and he's not going to go embarrass himself and do a cash grab.
Like some people,
right?
And again, just think about it from his perspective. If all you've ever made music with is your brother for 40 years, 50 years, then you're not really looking to now at 70 years old go, let me start jamming with Joe Blow on guitar.
Right.
I can see it. You got the money, dude. There's nothing you have a legacy. You have nothing to prove. Everyone saw what you could do for all those years, all the records sold. So in that regard, but my one gripe to him would be just leave the other guys alone. Why would it bother you that Sam and Dave are playing if you don't want to play, Al? Just stay home.
Right.
It does show that he does have dignity, because he could be out there all crippled up with some fucking cock riding his coattails and going and buying his cigarettes and shit.
or bringing in some drummer for the first 6 songs, and you get Al on 3 songs, and they call it Van Halen and all this shit they do, Oghat or these other bands.
Sure.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, dude. Now some of those guys, some of those guys I get, they don't have AVH money. AVH has a different tax bracket than 99% of us. I get that. So, but that's all the more reason why he has I'll just stay home. I have nothing to prove, dude. I got the money, I got the cars, I got the stuff. So
Yeah.
let Wolfie go do it. That's the future, right? If there's a Van Halen future, it's not even Sammy or Dave. It's Wolfgang Van Halen. So
Right.
and quite frankly, I don't know, I mean, I don't know what the relationship is, but you don't really ever hear Al going, that Wolfie, or Wolfie going, that Al.
Right.
So clearly they're on the same page with whatever is going on with the Van Halen stuff behind the scenes.
Right. Yeah. Well,
what I think he is going to do, though, guys, is I think there's a vault. I think there's a pretty good vault.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And I think you're going to see more video clips, high quality stuff we never saw before, tracks that were maybe not finished. Like I said, maybe Alex is doing an instrumental album or an album that has music left over with Lukather helping them put it together. But there's probably, I'm just going to guess, a guy like EVH hit record a lot late night playing guitar. And there's probably hours and hours and hours of shit in that studio.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. That's interesting too that you brought up that. Remember when there was that mention of that Steve Lukather helping Alex finish up some stuff, and that kind of went away quick.
Yeah.
Because Lukather made it very clear he's not playing on the album. He's helping him put the riffs together, compile what might be the stuff that Ed might have wanted to have out there. So. And I think that if you know anything about Van Halen, they're pretty notorious for you hear nothing, and then all of a sudden, boom, one day there's stuff right there on the internet or in the store, and you're like, where'd that come from? Right. So I would imagine he's going to do something. You might hear about it the week before or something, but he's not going to promote it until it's actually ready to go.
Right. That would be cool to have like a collection of archives that he just rolls out, kind of like the Kiss did with the live albums, right? I mean, it's just like every few months they put out something. And
Or I'm even thinking, again, if in a perfect world, if Evil Knievel is the manager, I'm going to say, hey, dude, let Sam have that one, let Dave have that one. Let's get whoever else. You want to get Gary Sharon or Mitch Malloy over? Not the Mitch
Malloy.
Get the on the vocals. And the point is, I'm just saying you could probably get it Go size to can in or call in some tracks here with Pro Tools these days. You don't got to be in the same room with them. Have them cut some vocals and put some drums and a little Wolfie bass on there or Michael Anthony bass on there, and it might sound like Van Halen. So they're not going to sing to what they used to be, but again, the studio is the studio. They can make Ozzy sound like he's singing. Ozzy ain't singing more than a word or two at a time, boys. So
they should do something with Mitch Malloy, because I can already picture the album artwork for that single. It would be the
teeth.
VH on the two front fucking teeth.
Whole teeth.
Anyways, just all obviously because I am a Van Halen fan. These are all just fantasies. Nothing's really going to happen. You might get an album with some unreleased tracks from Al. You're going to see some Sam for a while. You're going to see Dave on a tour, it sounds like, for a last run. And then bye, kids. They'll be done because they'll be old.
Yeah.
I mean, is Sammy 80 yet? He's got to be pushing. So David Roth is his late 70s, right? Or 75.
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's be straight. I don't know a lot of 75-year-old guys other than Don Dokken and David Lee Roth who are getting on stage. And David Lee Roth looks way better than Don Dokken. So
sounds better too. I mean,
sounds better. Just everything.
Maybe Roth was taking some notes on the Monsters of Rock tour. When
that he played on, right? Yeah,
right before he got shit canned, or when.
But believe it or not, I just looked it up. Roth is actually 2 years younger than Don.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Who would think that? Because Roth was that way out. What, I don't know, 78? Their first album came out. So
right.
That's why. Remember, Don wasn't signed until 30.
Yeah,
that's right. There's going to be a follow up to that.
Yeah,
we'll have to ask the fellow that said that, and hopefully Neely doesn't go pin it on somebody.
Oh yeah,
but yeah.
Don, do you know what they said, Don?
They said you weren't signed until you were 30.
Alan Niven said you were old, Don.
You were old when you wanted him to sign you. But
that damn wrap-up show's bringing up old things, Don.
So
You're trying to stir the pot, Don.
So I think we got basically the synopsis of that paid segment. It was all Van Halen related type stuff, and Chris did go off on the new tune whatever it's called. I don't even know what it's called. I don't mind it. I don't even know what it's called though, but it's something encore,
Thank
right?
you, encore, good night. I believe.
That's what it
If
is.
I'm not mistaken.
I don't mind it as much. I mean, he seems to really bag on it and stuff, and
No, it's
he's
not. There's far
not.
worse material out
Yeah,
there.
it's not as bad as he says. I mean, again, he can. Yeah,
compared to Van Halen 3, I'll take it any day of the week. Let's put it.
Yeah, that one was a stinker, and I'm sure anything they would have done with Mitch Malloy wouldn't have been much better after listening to him cover. What was it, Panama? I think it was Panama, right?
Yeah,
and then he did that one other song. Yeah.
Well, he's doing his own Van Halen experience.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw when he did that. It was a one and done though. I don't think he got good a good
reviews.
reception. Yeah, I think people kind of were like, "Why is he doing that?"
Because that's what could have been.
What could have been.
What could have been. But it's one of those things where it's like you got an opportunity to go see Mitch Malloy's Eddie Van Halen or Van Halen experience or the Atomic Punks. I go see the Atomic Punks, even though this particular version of it isn't as great as the one from the early 2000s.
Absolutely, I would still take that any day of the week. Mitch Malloy doing Van Halen is like him going out and saying, "I'm going to do Mitch Malloy's Great White."
Mitch Malloy's great. That's true.
Do we need to hear that?
Mitch Malloy.
How many classic tracks were you on, Mitch? None. Okay. So I mean,
we can convince.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Can you hear this?
A little bit. What is it? You can't make it out.
You can't make it out?
No,
I think Zoom
it's
tries
something. What is it?
Okay, it's canceling it. It's Mitch Malloy's Van Halen experience doing Drop Dead Legs.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's on YouTube.
Again, because he has so many ties to that. He performed that so many times with Ed. That's
true.
what we were all waiting for, was him to get back on stage and do Drop Dead.
There was that one time in the audition, and
one time
in the audition, and
that one time at 51
the audition
at 2:30 in the morning, with Eddie was high on meth and booze and was playing the riff, and I sang over it. So I think I should go do it on tour now.
Oh. That's bad.
I'm just saying, there was, if you ever, was the guy's name Craig Gass, the guy that does the
Gene Simmons the Gene Simmons impersonation. Yep.
You know that he lived with Eddie for a while, right? Have you ever heard those stories?
Yes. Yeah, he shared those on Stern too. Yeah.
Classic stories about his time with Ed. So
yeah, that's
Ed was a handful for a while there. I think he took the fall of Valerie pretty hard for a while there.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
poor guy was looking like a samurai ninja high on.
Well, you know what the important takeaway from that is, though? Is he might have taken that hard, but he didn't come to absolutely hate women like somebody else did.
Well, that's true. That's true.
He found love in his heart, and he kept his ex in the circle till his dying day and was friends with her while still having another wife and straightened his life out. We'll give him credit for that. Towards the
end.
Didn't
go on a rant for the 2 billionth fucking time last night and about, well, I'm just saying, women are trouble, and why would you ever want to be with a woman?
Well,
I'll take your money.
I'll explain it to you, Brother Wendell. It's because that's what heterosexual men do. We get women, right? That's what we do, right?
Uh-huh.
So that's why.
He'll stay home and listen to his Chicago records.
I like to jerk off in Chicago and fantasize about.
I'm on the couch late night, just me and Peter Cetera on the couch having time together.
Hey, so we're probably going to have to end this here in a minute. But the one thing I got to say, you guys, you have to listen to the Shout It Out Loudcast podcast with George Lopez. I cannot stand the guy. He's one of the most unfunny dudes ever. But,
there's a few of them out there, but yeah,
But I got to tell you, even though I dislike his comedy, that whole interview, it's like an hour and a half of stuff. You have to check it out because you will get to the point where Tom and Zeus, the two hosts, ask him to share a couple Ace Frehley stories. One has to do with a golf course and paintballs, and another one has to do with him heavily intoxicated on the phone with like some girlfriend or something across country, and how Ace is discovered by, I think, some of the handlers. I think it might have been Doc McGee, but it has to do with bodily fluid on his belly. So you got to check that out. It's fucking hilarious. And Neely should take some notes from George Lopez, because that fucking guy knows how to tell the story, and the way he sets up those two stories is fucking awesome. So check those out, and we'll pop back on here in a few with somebody else, hopefully somebody that's going to be joining. Fingers crossed on that. But I don't know if you guys want to do our
Kumia don't stand up. I mean,
that went
don't
away.
Don't pull a Kumia on us. Don't do it.
That went away. But I don't know. I guess that's it for us. So for this portion of this
segment,
episode,
we'll be back with our sponsored segment.
Hopefully in a few, kids.
Raise your horns high.